if it was illegal to say stupid things into a microphone.
Why must you be so stupid?
These guys would be doing life without parole.
Hey, everybody, we're back from prison.
Why do we keep encouraging this kind of behavior? It's the Breaking the Ice podcast with Josh Dolan.
You know, we could, go to jail for this.
Along with Mike Shue and Isaiah Moskahana Mana Blitz Boskowitz, whatever the hell his name is.
I saw your post about Wolfpack coffee while I was drinking Wolfpack coffee. Boom.
Whose post?
Josh put out it
nice.
was International Coffee Day, and he's like, we don't need any more reasons to drink Wolfpack coffee. We do.
I didn't even know it was National Coffee Day, and Timmy Boomsop sent that to me, and I was like, thank you.
He's tuned in.
He is.
Yeah, we got to get Matthew to send some more coffee. We're out.
Yeah, it's back into season.
So when I got laid off, Can you cut that out or something, Josh?
I'm going to clip it and only post that.
Yeah, okay.
Or just put the racist talk right across it. When I got laid off, I got and now I
cock.
No, I'm going to bleep out Christian
list. A list.
There's a list.
So you say you'd like to join God's army?
Everybody's got a list.
Oh, fuck it. I'll show you my list.
I'm making one right now.
You're checking it twice. Oh,
I was watching
to put the tree up.
What?
Fuck you, Josh. Fuck you so hard.
Tree.
Christmas.
Yeah,
he has Christmas lights on over the door already.
It's not even fucking October, and you're like, yeah, put the tree up. Fuck you and your real fucking tree. Okay. Fuck you. Fuck your real tree. Fuck the wreath up that stays up way past Christmas.
If you say fuck Santa Claus, we're done.
No, Santa, I'm not going to bring Santa into this. It's not his fault that Josh is some Santa sycophant who fucking just had,
only get that if you put
never got presents until he got money of his own. Then he had to buy them himself.
Oh.
You know,
he started doing it in fucking July. He was confused.
Yeah, right.
Hey, David Letterman used to put his tree up in July too. So I mean,
David Letterman's a legend. Absolutely.
I also put
it's right
top of my tree.
Do you not fucking celebrate Halloween?
No, once you're not a kid anymore and you don't work at a radio station, there's no point.
Yeah, God, you could dress up weird.
True. But then why can't you dress up anytime, really? Like in March.
I encourage women to dress slutty all the time.
You know, I mean, just
and I used to do it all the time.
It's the candy, really. And now this year, what are you going to do?
Open the door and fucking huck it at the kids and slam the door.
You know, I saw some woman in Texas made a potato gun, and she's going to shoot the candy at kids. You know there's going to be a lawsuit. She says, she was like, I'm going to shoot it across my lawn, and they can pick it up. Someone's going to lose an eye.
See, now that's fun.
You know, it is fun until somebody sues you, so.
Now, is Halloween even happening this year? Because, everyone's already wearing a mask. Do you just...
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the city of Worcester's. I'm sure they're saying do not go door to door. I'm sure there's still going to be some people showing up door to door. I don't know what to do about them. I mean, even if I put
if someone knocks at you, just shut your light off and fucking call it a night.
Yeah, I hate to do that because Halloween's fun.
Do you want them coming to your house?
No, well, I don't mind them standing on my porch, but it's like I don't want to leave a bowl out either. That's like leaving a petri dish of friggin' herpes.
Well, that and the first fat kid comes along and just fucking takes the whole bowl.
And that kid was my friend.
We got one of those.
Oh, really?
We got one of those in the neighborhood. They know.
Really?
Wow. It's real.
Cut the fucking shit.
It's real. It's unbelievable.
How old is this fucking person? 40 on top of it?
The last time she came to the house was 2 years ago, and I said, where's your costume? She's like, I'm dressed as a... back, and I opened it up, and I ate it in front of her, and I slammed the door in her face. And then she I said, it's not a law. Get off my porch and go tell your mother.
And then you bit her hand.
I know I should have.
Fucking punch the fucking mail slot and cut her fingers off.
If there weren't laws for adults beating up children, I'd totally do that.
She's an intruder.
You came onto my property, you little
No,
shit.
she was trying to break into my house through a mail slot that never in anyone's life would she fit through. But actually, seriously, in all seriousness, Josh, you need to cut that little part out.
Oh, fuck.
This is all getting cut out.
Josh is like, I haven't had to edit in weeks, and I got to edit that.
You said that, Isaiah, and I was like, I don't know what to. Oh, should we? Just in case.
How does he?
Anyone who showed up at my door with no costume, I wouldn't give them candy.
Fuck out of here. By the way, you look like you're 36. Go home.
Even if they had like a little bit of face makeup on, or maybe they threw on a football jersey and said, I'm a New England Patriot. I'm like, okay, that's cool. You made a little bit of effort.
At least try.
I'll give you some candy. If you show up like with your bag and you're absolutely, there's nothing whatsoever. You're dressed like you're dressed every day. It's like, get the fuck off my porch.
If you're wearing your Pop Warner jersey, that's no effort. You got to wear that to school on Fridays anyway.
Well, if they're wearing the whole outfit,
doing shit.
That's
sorry.
I give them that. Even if they are football players and they're just throwing on the uniform, at least they're.
That's like saying I'm dressed as a teenager.
Yeah.
Wait.
I don't know. At least it's an outfit.
See, the guy that we're talking to today, Jeff Belanger, he's got to love fucking Halloween. I listened to some of those podcasts, watched that promo. I want to talk to him about Marblehead. There's some fucked up shit.
Yeah, this guy, the North Shore, Marblehead, Gloucester, all those whaling towns up there. Holy shit!
The wars and shit that were fought here. There's a dungeon up the street at Fort Sewell.
Yeah.
He probably loves fucking Halloween.
Now, did you notice that haunting usually only takes place in super white neighborhoods like Isaiah's?
Yeah,
Wait.
Marblehead. Right?
Wait.
Why is that?
I don't.
Let's go right for that question. Hey, so are ghosts racist? And just pull out the racist cock.
How come places like Marblehead and Easton and Fairfield, Connecticut are haunted, but like
Western Mass,
Worcester, and like Lowell and Brockton, there's nothing.
They're too fucking busy.
There's no New England legends there.
Because they all died of fucking heroin overdoses.
It's like, why? Why is that? The ghosts are too scared. Even the ghosts are scared of these towns.
Right?
But like but that's why I like Christmas. The ghosts are nice and they teach you lessons.
Can you just not bring up Christmas until after Thanksgiving?
It's fucking not even October and he's talking about Christmas.
We've got a day.
October's tomorrow.
October.
Then get through fucking Halloween and Thanksgiving.
Jesus Christ. We still have Columbus Day, for fuck's sake.
Hey,
I hope getting canceled this year?
Oh, I don't know.
Careful.
It's Indigenous Peoples
No,
Day.
it got canceled this year.
Who's calling me from Christmas, Florida? And I hit Do Not Disturb.
They're listening.
See?
Josh mentions Christmas.
And I get a call from Christmas, Florida.
Share down in Christmas, Florida. Yeah.
I want to test this. I want to test this out. Black Hawk. See if I get a call from Black Hawk, Florida. No, not yet.
Is there
Can you imagine living in a town called Black Hawk?
Yes, I can.
Wow.
No, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me that there would be a town named that,
It's like French.
There could be a Giant Vagina, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is another town that has, there's Intercourse, Pennsylvania. There's Climax, Pennsylvania.
Oh.
And then like going down through, you get off Route 80 and you go through Clearfield. And right after Clearfield, there's these two little towns. There's like a fork in the road, like a crossroads. And on the left, you can turn and you can go to Panic, Pennsylvania. And on the right. Yeah, Panic. And then if you turn right, you go to Desire, Pennsylvania.
Oh God!
It wouldn't surprise me if there's a Blackhawk, Pennsylvania, or a giant.
I like Beaver, Colorado. Beaver, Colorado. Favorite spot: Beaver Liquors. How you doing, Jeff?
Hey, there he is.
Good, thanks.
Segue.
We're talking about weird town names.
Yeah, we're talking about strange town names. I'm sure you've run into a few of those in your travels.
Intercourse, Pennsylvania.
I just mentioned that. Yeah, we drive through there every year. Yeah.
All right.
Panic, Pennsylvania. I like Beaver Liquors. It's a liquor store in Beaver, Colorado. That's solid.
Beaver Liquors. Yeah. No, that's good.
Do we know Bunghole Liquors in Peabody?
Yes,
Yes.
I've been to Bunghole Liquors. They sell T-shirts too, which is
I
great.
got
They need
one.
a new fucking sign, though. Seriously, get a new sign.
No, they got to stick. I got the T-shirt that said, "We're not number one, but we're right up there." Fantastic.
Bunghole Liquors.
I love it. I love wearing that to the supermarket. People just don't understand.
We were just
That's
talking
nice.
about you, Jeff. Jeff Belanger joining us from New England Legends. We have questions for you, man.
Yeah, no, that's it's a good thing I'm here then.
Thank you for joining us for the questionnaire
Yes.
section. Of the
Question
program.
one: are you ready for Christmas?
No.
Shut the fuck up! Stop it!
Why?
Almost.
All right,
When
Jeff.
do you start? When do you start?
Josh is,
Wait, hold on. First of all, Josh makes a poignant point because Christmas is twice, maybe 3 times as scary as Halloween.
That's true. We learned
Right.
that. Yeah.
By far, there's
but he doesn't like it for that. He likes it because it's friendly and soft. It's not scary.
Nope,
So
nope.
tell him some scary stories.
I
about it.
love Krampus. So sit down,
Yes.
Isaiah.
Yes.
I'm sitting. Thank you.
Right
We've
here.
talked about Krampus. We have. It's Christmas can kill you. Halloween's just ghosts and spirits, whatever. Like you're pretty much safe. But Christmas, your life's in mortal danger.
Wait, what?
So, yeah. No. What do you mean? What?
Krampus.
How am I in mortal danger with Christmas?
Because there's creatures that are literally hunting you. Creatures like Krampus, who will come down and snatch up naughty children, take them back to his lair, and eat them. The Belschnickel, who beats naughty children.
Oh, yes,
Wow.
the Belschnickel.
Right?
Yes.
There's
yes.
so many monsters around Christmas time.
I guess
First
the
of all,
Grinch, right? The Grinch.
well, the Grinch is a byproduct of Krampus, but think about it. This is the most frightening day of the year because it falls right around the winter solstice. They're not sure if the sun's going to come back. The day is as short as it's going to be. Winter, will you even survive? It's a time for fear. But you guys want to talk about Halloween because you're a bunch of pussies.
Hey, Merry
Right?
Christmas,
Also,
Josh.
the whole year leads up to Christmas. That's how you get kids to be good all year.
Right.
Oh,
No,
God.
no, if you're not ready for Christmas, it's cool. We can start with Halloween and start light and, kind of build to it. No
Well, let's
problem.
go light and airy, then we'll get to
Yeah.
Josh's favorite holiday.
Yeah,
Right.
let's take it easy. We'll start with training wheels and go from there.
Right. Well, for people that don't know Jeff, he's got a podcast, New England Legends, and basically I'm sorry, what's your partner's name again?
Tony Dunn is my partner
Yeah.
with the TV side of it. Ray Ozier's my partner with the
Ray
podcast
Ozier.
side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the podcast is about all the creepy and maybe not so creepy, but some places that have myths and legend all around New England.
Yeah.
And then, the TV part, is that still on Amazon Prime?
It is. In fact, we're about to put up a Halloween special that'll be up hopefully in like 2 weeks or so.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And then you also just came out with the New England Legends app, which I downloaded, which is awesome because it comes with
I know you downloaded it, Mike. I've got all your data now.
Oh,
God,
fuck.
really?
No, I'm totally kidding. I'm trying to
No, you're not.
Come on. Everybody watches porn. I'm not ashamed. But it comes with
Mike watches old lady porn. It's fucking
Yeah,
weird.
that's great. Let's keep that going. So
What? Thank you, Lenny Clark.
the map on there shows you where all these places are that you talk about in the podcast and the TV show, and it gives you directions to the place, and which I think is great because I just took the family to Assonet Ledge
A
over
sonnet.
there in
Oh.
Freetown.
Well done. You're so
Beautiful
close.
place.
It is.
Assonet or a sonnet?
A sonnet.
Is it a sonnet?
A
I'm sorry, I
sonnet,
like saying
yeah.
Assonet
If you want to
better.
be fancy about it.
No, because the locals have had it up to their ass with.
Oh,
So anyway, I'm sorry. So you're at Freetown State Forest and you found the Lady of the Ledge. Well, where she's supposed to be. I saw
Yeah,
the
we
popped
pictures.
off, right? I saw
We
that
didn't-
picture.
Didn't see any Lady of the Ledge. We found a couple of stoners hanging out there, which was kind of nice. But
Shit tons of spray paint all over the rock.
yeah,
Yep.
lots of spray paint. So what was the deal there? There was a Native American woman who couldn't be with her lover, so she threw herself off the ledge.
Right.
Is
That's
that the deal?
That's the story. However, that ledge isn't that old because it's a quarry.
Right.
And so that's the great story. But in reality, that quarry came long after the Native Americans were out of there and things like that. So, but at the same time, people do jump off it. There's YouTube videos
Mhm.
where you could see people jumping into the water. If you mess that jump up, it's
Yeah.
not going to go well, right? If you jump too shallow or whatever,
right.
like
It's pretty high up.
that'll do you in.
And
So
what are the little trolls that run around the Freetown forest out there?
the Puckwudgies.
Yes, the Puckwudgies. They're like little redneck
Puckwudgies.
dudes, right?
Yeah. There's actually a beer. I forget which brewery makes it, but it's like Puckwudgie Ale, which is just awesome. So Puckwudgies, it's a Wampanoag legend that goes back a long, long way. Very similar to like Irish little people, right? They can they're miniature magical people. They can turn themselves into ball of lights, and they can help you or they can kill you. It depends on their mood.
There's a fine line. I'll be your friend or murder you. Right?
You think?
Yeah.
Do you think that particular legend may have come from somebody eating the wrong kind of mushroom?
Oh God,
in
yes.
the woods.
You know, I would agree with you. However, the strangest thing about that is that same creature under different names shows up in Alaska, Ireland, Europe, Africa, Asia, right? Like it's all over the world, a miniature magical human-like creature that can turn into a ball of light. Will-o'-the-wisps and Irish folklore and stuff like that.
Leprechauns.
Yeah, but I mean, sort of. Yeah, but it's sort of like a leprechaun. Yeah, but it's one of those things that these are cultures that we didn't think had any contact with each other, you know,
Right.
and yet this same thing shows up all over. So either we all made up the same story, or someone saw something weird.
There's like a race of mole people living
Right.
under us all over the world.
Yes, I
Yeah.
knew it.
Arc of tunnels. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that.
Remember the Flintstones? What the Great Gazoo, right? That's
Oh my God, the Martian. Yes.
Yeah,
It
he
is-
was an alien. Yeah.
Now that was the show had jumped the shark when he came on. However,
I think so. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, he was around then, and I don't know what influenced what, but I'm sure there was drugs at Hanna-Barbera by that point.
Oh my God, cartoons. Can you imagine working at like Hanna-Barbera, getting fucking high, or Disney, and just like, really?
Yes.
Where do you come up with fucking Mickey Mouse? Whoa. Whoa. Hey, I want to ask you some questions. I live in Marblehead. I grew up in Marblehead, and there's some history in this town.
Yeah, of course. There's history everywhere.
Serious history. What things have you done? I didn't go through all of your podcasts. Have you been up here and done any stories on the town?
Not Marblehead specifically, but like all around. I mean, you know, like it's you know, shoot, borders are a newer thing, right? Some of these stories go back. Did someone just toke? Or is that in my?
Is somebody?
I just heard
Mike,
like.
I don't smell. Not me. I don't smell anything.
Mike makes noise. Mike gets so fucking high, he just makes weed noises now.
I think that was Isaiah back.
Yeah, it's just a habit now. Yeah.
That was amazing.
All right,
It sounded like
I
a water
farted.
bomb.
Hey,
Okay.
Get over it.
All right.
Let's play
I'm
the
already over it. I'm already over it. Already over it.
So the borders, you said, so like the North Shore. The North Shore's
Yeah.
got to be just littered with Salem and all these towns.
Yeah.
It's just, this town's got some serious, you know, I mean, way back fighting wars in Fort Sewell. There's a dungeon up there at Fort Sewell, which is a trip.
You got pirates. You got pirate history, right? We don't think about New England when we think of pirates, but hey, man, anywhere there's ports, there were pirates, and there's Dungeon Rock in Lynn, which is a really cool site. Mike, have you been there? That seems like you should. That's a place you should have been.
Really? I'll put that on the list. Definitely.
Dungeon
I'm working
Rock.
my way
You
through
could-
your calendar too. So you know.
I love it.
Yeah.
No, so Dungeon Rock, right? So it's this story that this pirate ship pulls into Lynn Harbor, and some guys get out, and they go up, and there was a cave, and there's this earthquake, and there's a cave in. And then around 1860, a guy named Hiram Marble, a spiritualist, says spirits are telling him to dig here, and he will find that buried pirate gold. And he started selling bonds for $1 or $5 where you could get a piece of the treasure. And he dug for years and years and years, tunneling. And you can still go in the tunnel. It's right there in Lynn Woods. It's open to the public. It's open most days. You can go down into the tunnel. He made it something like 125 feet until he hit the water table. But he and his son dug for years and years and years because spirits told him to. Had they found gold, then, I mean, you would have heard of Lynn, Massachusetts the same way you heard of like Jerusalem or Mecca, right? Because it would have been this holy crap, we dug for 20 years and found the gold, and now we're going to start this spiritualist church. But they struck out.
I don't think there's
Now
any
it's
gold
just a
in
guy
Lynn.
with too much time on his hands.
Now it's a dead guy who had too much time on his hands. And but this cave's still there, and you can get down in there. You got to bring a flashlight, and you go around, and you're like, holy crap, man, some guy dug this.
That's cool.
Died doing it, you know? And that's right there in Lynn with pirates and ghosts. You can't do better than that.
What about in the Holliston area? That's where Josh. That's where you live, right, Josh?
Yeah.
Well, there's Upton,
Holliston, Framingham, Hopkinton. Yeah.
like
I thought you lived in Roxbury.
You didn't pay attention.
I didn't get the memo. Sorry.
You know, with this Zoom thing, no one knows anymore, right? You used to have to all get together at a real studio, and now it's just, you could be anywhere.
Now we have interaction.
Yeah, well, it's like the Upton Chambers, not too far from there. And it's the Upton Chamber is this some believe it could be many, many centuries old, maybe thousands of years old. I think it was the sunset on the solstice day it would illuminate the back of this chamber, and you can still get inside of it. It's this weird honeycomb structure. It's usually got some water in it. And it's sort of unknown what it was for. It doesn't look like you would want to live in it. It's too small. It's too small for storage. It's absolutely built. This is not a cave. It's this. And not only that, when you get inside, it's like honeycomb. So it's so brilliantly built. Each stone just gets on top of the other one, and it's just all an interlocking system, centuries old. And you're in there and you're like, if this thing falls on me, I'm dead.
Wow.
I'm dead right now. Like, this is it.
No idea that was there.
Checkout time. Yeah. Right there in Upton. And it's right at a park. The public can visit it. And, I'm sure there's stoners around there too. So
yeah, the place that stoners used to go to in near the town that I grew up in, Air. And I think we talked to you about it when you came into the studio on AAF, Lollipop Cemetery. And
Harvard. Yeah, that's the Shaker Cemetery, and it's called Lollipop because, first of all, I've never seen headstones like that anywhere else. They're all cast iron, and they sort of look like a lollipop. It's like a stick, and then a thing, and then it's a cool place. But what's nuts is that those Shakers used to sell Shaker medicinal spring water, right? And
Really?
at one point they outsold Poland Spring. You've heard of Poland Spring, right? Like they were competitors. That now the Shakers went out of business. So the ad said, I could share my screen, couldn't I?
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude,
technology.
Listen. Make me a co-host so I can share the screen there, Josh.
How do I do
You're
that?
hired.
Just click on my name and
boom,
and I'll show you some stuff. Like this is a great story. So anyway, so the ad talks about how this water smites death, and of course this was before truth in advertising and all that other stuff. But it's one of those things where I'm trying to find it. Hold on. Just have 2 seconds. Fill space for me. Go to commercial.
Oh, God.
Oh, Jesus.
We want to thank our sponsors and all the people that watch this fucking hot mess and blah, blah, blah.
Garage Doors Plus and Wolf Coffee and Invoke Media. We want to thank all of them for sponsoring this. And we're really very, very shocked and surprised they're still sponsors of this.
Yeah, so if you got a haunted garage, just close it up. Call Garage Doors Plus.
Right, exactly.
Nicole can make you a haunted website, and Matt he'll haunt you while you're all
keep
fucked
you up
up
all
on
night
coffee.
with the coffee.
All right, good enough. We're good. We're good.
Hey, we're still filling, Jeff. We'll get back to you later. Thank you.
All right, so there's the ad. Shaker medicinal spring water. It's a cure for Bright's disease of the kidneys, stones, and all that other stuff, right?
Jesus, look at that.
Yeah.
What a load of bullshit.
Yeah, no, but this is
unbelievable.
You could say whatever you want. You could say whatever you want. Okay, so they had this. They had the doctor's endorsements and all that other stuff. There's Lollipop Cemetery.
Yeah, there it is.
That's cool. The cast iron, huh?
Now that's where kids always used to go drink, and I never went there, so I thought it was just like a thing in our high school. And then I mentioned it on AF, and there was so many people on the text line that were like, "Yeah, I know that place."
Yeah. A lot of people said the ground is really spongy around there too for some reason.
Yeah.
Well, it seemed like a normal cemetery to me, but here's the part I want you to notice, and we'll talk it through for people who aren't seeing what we're seeing. But so this guy died in 1841 at age 96. This person died in 1806 at age 99, right? This is right off the headstone. Person died in 1829 at age 96. Like, we're talking about during that time, the average lifespan in the U.S. was like 40, 45 years if you include infant mortality. So suddenly that ad that says it smites death, you're like, holy crap, these guys are doubling the life expectancy. Right. And you start wondering, like, what's up? And so I was told the spring house is still out in the woods. And the first time I went out there was like 2008. And a historian took me out there, and that's it. There it is. You could see it. I'm taller than that. It's probably like 5 feet tall. And it had this like rusted lock on it. And in there was the well house. And I was like, do you think we could get in? And he goes, no, man, it's rusted shut. And I was like, man, imagine if we got in and we found like some dead bodies or something. And he said,
oh, yeah.
Imagine if we got in and saw some live bodies.
Right.
I was like, right. So
drink in the water.
Yeah, thrown in the well. Yeah.
Well, hold on. So I went back a few years later. We got to film there for the New England Legends series, and we went with the whole Harvard Historical Commission. We had bolt cutters. We're getting in, right? And we get the door open. There's like 6 inches of crystal clear water coming up through the silt, And I did what you would have done. I
No,
filled
I would
a
not
glass.
have done that. I would not have done that.
Yeah, you would.
Okay.
You were
I
high
would not
enough.
have drank that water. Are you kidding me? Did you shit your pants?
No. Okay. So listen, that's the medicinal spring pump. Look at the picture. That was like 4 years ago. Look at me now. Have I aged?
Wow.
It's 86 right now. So, I mean,
I'm just saying.
You actually look younger, dude. Uh-oh.
I'm just saying.
Dude.
I'm just saying, man. When there's smoke, there's fire sometimes.
So
that's all I'm
Ponce de
saying.
Leon was looking in the entirely different, like a wrong place. He should have gone north instead of south.
Should have
Look
been
at
in
that.
Harvard. I know.
right? So, Shakers in Harvard are where they're saying there must be something in the water comes from.
There must be something in the water. And so you could say, like, now Shakers don't get married. They don't have sex. They don't do drugs. Yeah, you can't birth a Shaker. You have to choose it. So maybe it's the no sex, no drugs, no alcohol that is the reason they live so long.
It's the no
And why do you want to live?
thing. Yeah.
But I'm going with the water because I'm not giving any of that stuff up. So yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
can't believe you drank that water, man. I mean, did it taste like heinous? I mean, it must have just
No. It was perfect because first of all, see the water behind me? That's a stream, and this was coming up through silt, so it had been filtered through all the silt and everything. That's spring water, moving spring water. If you were there with me, Mike, I would have made you drink it. I would have held you down and yeah.
I mean, you
high
drank Worcester tap water, I bet. So
Right.
Worcester tap water is like one of the cleanest ever. Come on now.
How high do you get?
Wachusett Reservoir. It's one of the cleanest tap waters in the state. Look it up. That's crazy, man. You know what's weird is the Shaker headstones there are different from the ones at Spider Gates here in it's actually in Leicester, right over the line.
Those are Quakers, Mike.
Oh, Quakers. Oh.
Yeah, the Shakers are in Harvard. Quakers are in Spider Gates.
Now, is it Shakers or Quakers that are buried standing up, which is creepy?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think it's Shakers.
Shakers, yeah. So Shakers were, of course, they would like shake around when they prayed. Quakers are actually rather quiet when they pray.
Yeah.
So.
And they love their oatmeal.
Oh, love it. They love their oatmeal.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of cemeteries like that, not the cast iron ones, but in Marblehead, they're super old. You can't even read what's on the headstones. And a couple of those, that the bump, there's a few of the, you should come to Marblehead and poke around. There's some things that are growing up down off of the street called Harris Street. It's just behind a church. As a kid, just going down and looking at it, but I've been back there since. I'm like, fuck, this has to be haunted. It has to be. It just scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. There's also Old Burial Hill in town, which overlooks Red's Pond, and you just walk the thing. Mike, I sent you a couple pictures.
Yes, that's right. Yes, that's right. I remember that.
You and your daughter had just gone out, and I think you put up some cool pictures of the cemetery. And my wife and I went for a walk, and I'm like, because we just moved back to town. I've been here like 35 years. I'm like, I think there's a cemetery up there. You start walking it. You start doing that shit at dawn, at dusk, and it's creepy as fuck. It's a cool town.
Yeah,
it's really definitely haunted.
Well, one of the things I love about New England is that we really preserve our past. I mean, you go down the main streets of Marblehead or any Holliston, any small town, right? And that's what it looked like centuries ago. Like there's a few less Duncans, but that's it, right? Like
no Duncans here.
There were a couple, but there was, but it's
Duncans,
ye old Dunkin' Donuts. It looks the same, and you're like, wow. I mean, some of these towns you can't paint your house on Main Street unless the town approves
every
the color.
town has it. We call it not historical, the hysterical society. I know why they're doing it. I get why they're doing it, but I'm telling you, if you even want to change a window.
Yeah.
Holy shit. It's 9 years later. And they're like, well, George Washington didn't look out that. That has to be single pane and you freeze in the winter. Fuck off.
Yeah. But that's who we are.
But it keeps it up. It keeps up the history. I get it.
And we're connected to it, right? So we connect with our history. That's how we roll around here. And when you go to Old England, right over in Europe, man, those folks take it even to another level. There's so much preservation and their stuff's so much older than ours.
Right.
And there's this attitude of like, yeah, it's haunted. Of course it's haunted because it's old and people have lived here and died here. So we are so matter of fact. And I love that because it doesn't have to be this big like religious discussion. It doesn't have to be a challenge to any kind of belief system. It just is what it is sometimes.
Right.
Yeah. Now, I know you in the latest episode of New England Legends, you talk about the is it the bootleg queen of Vermont?
Yeah.
And she was like she was an amazing lady. So they're not all they're not all really about ghosts and spirits and things like that. There's some just actual like just regular legendary stuff. And she she was like instrumental in bringing booze in from Canada through Vermont, and she got arrested something like 16 times or something like that.
Her record was 4 times in 4 months, and
Oh
but
my gosh.
overall it was something like 8 times. So the thing is, like, Hilda Stone became kind of like this folk legend, real person, real historical person, really got arrested during Prohibition. Her husband fell on hard times, and she's like, I'm going to run to Canada and get some booze. I know I can make a few bucks that way. But the thing is, she loved it. She loved being an outlaw. And so she had a gang. Police weren't looking for a woman in 1925 to be running booze. And so she was highly successful. She called herself the bootlegger queen of Vermont. And now when you do that,
you can't give yourself, me and Josh have talked about this. You can't give yourself a nickname.
Nope.
That's just bad luck.
She did.
Yeah.
She did, but here's what it did. So if you wanted booze in 1925 illegally, you need a bootlegger, and the bootlegger queen sounds pretty good to you. Now, if you're police, arresting the bootlegger queen is like a prize, right?
Right. Most wanted.
Yeah, it created this whole thing around her, and but for years she got arrested. She'd go to jail, get out of jail, hop in the car, and go to Canada and get booze. And you got to remember too, the police didn't like arresting people for bootlegging, because some of those cops were also customers. Let's be honest.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Or they would just take their cut.
Yeah. Or they're like, like 3 years ago, this was totally legal. Today it's not. And I would like some booze this weekend. So it was a real quandary for a lot of the
Kennedys. And then they'll.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. The Kennedys were involved in that too.
Yeah, right. That's ton. And then of course the bottom comes out in 1933 when they're like, all right, screw this, man. Just legalize it again. And here we are. And funny how that story repeats, right? Except it's not booze anymore. Now it's pot.
Right.
Well, and that's going away now. It's becoming legal everywhere. So
yeah, right. So no more Hilda Stone of marijuana.
It's like high saturated fat fried food people are going to be smuggling.
That's right.
Pretty soon.
And straws and soda.
Yeah, plastic straws.
Yeah,
bootlegging plastic straws from Canada. Right. Jeff, what, of all the places you've been to, and is it in the thousands yet?
Oh, it's got to be. It's got to be. Yeah.
Where was the place where you would never go back? Like you were just like, I'm never coming back here. This just scared the shit out of me.
So truthfully, a place that I would never go back to is usually one that bores me. If it scared the shit out of me, I'm probably
going to go baback.
That moves it up the list, man. That's one where you're like, oh, I really think this is all bullshit. Those are the ones I tend to be like, I'd give it a pass.
Like, okay.
Yeah. But if something weird happens, man, I was at Waverly Hills in Louisville, Kentucky, which was an old tuberculosis sanatorium. Pretty much every ghost show is filmed there. Ghost Adventures, which is my day job. I'm the writer and researcher for that series. We filmed there. But the first time I went in there, and I'm not psychic or anything, I don't consider myself anywhere of the sort, but I walked in that building and it's like 400 rooms, 5-6 stories tall, this bat-wing building, absolutely immense. No windows, totally empty. There's like vines growing in and stuff. And you just know that like hundreds and hundreds of people died here of tuberculosis. That's what it was for. You were sick, you're dying of a plague, by the way, tuberculosis.
A slow, painful death.
Yeah, of affliction of the lungs, coincidentally. And you're in there just like, I was walking through the rooms and I said, imagine you're in the room and you would just hear coughing from every room around you 24 hours a day. Everyone's just, fighting for breath.
Sounds like this year.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Man, but like it must have just chipped away at you. So the first time I walked in this building, I just went, whoa. I mean, it felt crowded. Yeah. It felt like there were lots of people around and there was just a few of us. And that night I watched someone step out of a room, look like a doctor almost, like 4 doors down on the left, just step out into the hallway and look at us and step back in. And there was 4 of us and we look at each other like, okay, first thought is like, there's some transient or someone up here that doesn't belong. And so we raced to that room, and the only 2 ways they could have gone is out in the hallway where we were or jump out like a 3rd-story window. And there's nobody there. And you just look at each other and go,
shit.
So,
yeah.
We gotta go.
Yeah.
You want to bring us there? We should do a break in the ice field trip or something.
Yes.
I mean,
awesome.
I love these places. No, but there's so many. We don't have to go to Louisville, Kentucky. We can go. I mean, there's a lot closer places.
Well, I'd mentioned to you the and I want to go see if the tree is still out there where they hung this person. Mary Webster, the Witch of Hadley, in Hadley, Massachusetts, which is out like just north of Northampton.
Yep.
This woman, this is a classic example of how they treated a strong and defiant woman back in, I think it was the 1700s.
Yeah.
And so she didn't get married until later on in life, which meant she was a whore. She was a whore, right? Because she didn't get married when she was 14. And then they were, her and her husband were extremely poor, so they were always in trouble. People were always trying to help them out. But she had a huge temper. Like, she would fly off the handle about something. And so that rubbed people the wrong way to the point where they started suspecting, you know, she was a witch of some sort. And then they think she put a curse on the road in front of her house. So when they were trying to herd cattle or ride horses past her house, they would stop there for some reason and they wouldn't go any further.
Jesus.
So the guys in charge of whatever the cattle was or anything would go into the house and beat her senseless until the horses or the cattle would be able to get by her house. It's such a weird, messed up story.
And it's not unique. That's the worst part.
Yeah.
Like, that story
happened before the Salem stuff too.
That's right. And it happened in other states. So what happened, the strangest thing about her case is there was this guy, Philip Smith, who was like a total hypochondriac, who claimed he was being attacked by her. And so he sent some thugs to go after her. She was tried in Boston, by the way, for witchcraft and found not guilty. They found no evidence. So he sends some of his goons to like beat her and string her up at night. And he said only when she was being beaten could he rest peacefully. Therefore, she must be a witch.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
But the problem with the hanging is they didn't get the noose right.
Well, no. So yeah, there's two ways, right? When you're executing someone, you want to snap the neck. There's also the much worse way.
Hold on, let me write that down. When you're you snap the neck. Is that what you do?
Yeah, that's the humane way. If you're
I'm heading to Josh's house
right
after the show, and I'm going to snap his neck. Thank you.
Right.
That down.
Otherwise, you strangle, and that can take many, many long minutes. And so the torturous way is to just pull you up and then let you down and pull you up, and they were just literally torturing her.
Jesus.
But the thing is that they strung her up and they left her there all night, and she didn't die.
Fuck that.
And they came back in the morning and found out she was still alive, and they took her down, and there was like 4 feet of snow on the ground. This was at night in the winter. She was hanging up there all night in the winter. They brought her down, and they buried her in the snow.
Yep.
And she still didn't die.
Well, you wonder why when they do, you wonder why they haunt. You fucking torture my ass like that. I'm coming back.
This story convinces me she really was a witch.
She's probably a witch, right? It's the only other way.
If she didn't die, then they got it right. Because it's always the people like that dude in Salem who had the rocks put on him. What was his name?
Giles Corey,
Giles Corey. You know, he's like, more weight. I don't give a fuck. You know, the guy's the original punk rocker, you know, but like this woman, like,
is that what he said in that voice? More weight. I don't give a fuck.
They asked him, said, are you going to confess that you're a witch? And he just looked at the guy and went, more weight.
Wow.
I mean, that has to be your voice. You can't say more weight, please.
He's like, I have a few more rocks.
So not a witch.
But she lived for another 11 years, and they kept beating her and torturing her for that full-on 11 years. They, you know, even though she was, that's a fucked up. I want to go out there and see like where she lived and stuff, and you know,
so this
is probably a strip mall, unfortunately.
So this is what's important to me, right? So we tell these stories because like we do abuse certain people in our population, right? And so when you could talk about this, you're like, oh, those were the dark ages. That's crazy. We don't do any of that stuff anymore.
Well, we do.
Don't we? Yeah, we do. We totally do. And so we tell these stories to remind ourselves like, come on, man, we got a chance to get it right. It's like a sermon from the past, a sermon from history to like, come on, we could do better. We could do better.
When did you, talking to Jeff Belanger here, awesome series that we're following. We'll give all the information out about that in a second. How did you get into this? How did you get into where you're at now with New England Legends? Were you fascinated as a kid with creepy stories or things that just kind of went thump in the night? I mean, how did you get into all this?
Yeah, so I grew up in Sandy Hook, Connecticut, actually. So I was born in Mass, but really grew up there, and that's a historic town. I mean, there's old homes, and a buddy of mine had a house built in 1760, and he's like, hey, my house is haunted. I was like, really? You know, so we're having sleepovers, you know, and I also grew up in the town next to Ed and Lorraine Warren from the Conjuring movies and
shit.
Annabelle and all that.
Yes, yeah.
Shit.
So I knew them since I was 12. Lorraine went to our church. You know, you'd see them in the grocery store. And so
it just fascinates you. You can't not in a town like that. The house I grew up in was in the 1700s, a huge old house, and it fucking creaked. I could never sleep with my back to the room because I just felt something, but I'm not going to get all into that. And then after my parents passed,
hold on. Don't bury the lead. Let's get into that.
Okay. All right.
So wait, sorry. So you can't sleep with your back to the door. Did you see anything? Did you hear anything?
I couldn't sleep with my back to the room because I would feel something as a kid. So I was probably in that house until I was, let's say, 16 or 17. So I remember very clearly as a kid, that room, I could never fall asleep with my back to the room. You know, I couldn't be facing the wall and my back to the room. Years later, this actually turns into the lead. When my parents passed away, I rented the house out, and one of the renters was supposed psychic or whatever. I just wanted her to pay her fucking rent. But she brought me into the house and said, "Would you mind if I take you through the house?" I'm like, "Sure, whatever." Right to that room, she said, "There's a little girl in this room." I'm like, "Oh, fuck." Okay. But she felt something, and she said, "There's a little girl. There's a presence in this room." And I told her, I said, "First of all, pay your rent." So cough that up. And then she had interesting stories. I don't have those visions, but she was way into it. But when she brought me to that room and said, "There's a little girl that plays in this room," I'm like, I'm interested.
Yeah. That's the stuff I love because when I started as a newspaper reporter, a features writer, and I got hooked on Halloween stories and turned it into a website and then books and then a career. It wasn't a plan.
Or you investigate. You like to investigate. That's good. That's awesome.
So if you're just an observer and there's a restaurant in Ashland called Stone's Public House, right? Great haunt, great story, cool winter bar. And I live close enough that I've known the various owners, I've known people that work there. And there was one waiter that I talked to, he's like, "I worked there all summer, didn't believe in ghosts." And if you've been there, you know, there's a patio on the front toward the main drag there. And he said, you know, he was serving someone drinks or whatever. And they said, "Hey, there's a little girl up in that window. I think she looks lost or like she might need help." And I know exactly that window. I've been all through the building. And he's like, "That's storage. There shouldn't be anybody in there, but I'll go look," you know. So he looks and fine. You could say, someone's crazy or messing with me. But as the summer goes by and that same conversation happens a few more times, like that's just being mildly observant. Why are people telling me there's a little girl in the window above here? That's just a storage area. And
people are seeing it. They're seeing it.
And they don't know anything about anything. And they just say, "Hey, and then suddenly you become a believer, even if you don't see it, because you're just observing what people are telling you. And that's one of those haunts that, it just comes up. The train, the commuter rail goes like 15 feet from the corner of the building. When it goes by, it rattles the whole thing. Wow. There was a girl who was killed by a train. She was hit by the train, brought to the nearest building, which was Stone's, and then died there. And
oh God!
So that
she's watching for the next train.
Yeah, which is like every hour, by the way. So, yeah, it's just one of those powerful stories. And you walk inside, if you've been in there, it's like you just stepped into 1890. You know what I mean? It's the old awesome. Wood. Yeah, and it's got the look and the fireplace. And
it just hasn't changed at all.
No.
Now, do you know why ghosts are always on the second and third floor? They're never on the first floor. I feel like it's always an up window.
Because usually they die in a bedroom, right, or something like that. Isn't that
better view downstairs? There's too many trees. I want to see you
in the kitchen and
no, they would choke in the kitchen and run upstairs to the bathroom and fucking die up there.
I gotta get a good view for when I die.
My answer is way more boring.
Right, we'll go with our answers and just
go with your answer then, because mine is like, you know, on the main floor of any building is the most active. Like there's people hustling and bustling, so there could be 20 ghosts around you. You don't know it because you're bringing in groceries, you're putting things down, you got the TV on it.
They're like Greg Brady. They're like, "I'm going to the attic. Fuck this."
Yeah, that's right.
More exactly what happened. Energy up there.
Yeah.
It's a really, really amazing building is the Mount Washington Hotel.
Yeah, I've been there a bunch.
Yeah, does that have stories? Does that have hauntings?
Yeah, 100%. No, 100. There's a picture of a woman when you walk into the main. It looks a lot like the Overlook Hotel in The Shining because I don't know if I got my facts here right, but I think the folks that made The Shining and with Stephen King, they were going to film up there. It looks very similar to the main part of the Overlook Hotel in The Shining. And when you walk in, You go to the checkout desk. It's old. It's got like the old mailboxes, and it still has the old phone for communicating with each of the rooms. And there's a painting of a woman who's looking over a banister. And I believe something in the story is that she similar thing. Like there's a little girl in the window.
The princess.
She
the
haunts
princess,
the place. And I'll tell you what, I don't give a fuck who you are. You wake up at 2:00 in the morning and that big giant thing in the dead of winter, and you don't hear noises, you're deaf. That place has.
Yeah.
And I believe the hair standing up on the back of the neck, whenever that happens, I'm like, I don't know the terminology, but that makes it real to me. I'm like, okay.
No, that's a great. It's this one of those turn of the century grand hotels. The Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, Colorado, which is where Stephen King actually wrote part of The Shining and was inspired.
Yeah. My wife went out there last year, said it was magnificent.
I've been there a bunch too. So those two hotels look identical, except the Mount Washington is much bigger.
Okay.
So they look so similar. But the Mount Washington's got some funky little details to it. Like there was superstitions when it was built. There's two big staircases, one right behind that check-in and one toward the ballroom.
Yep.
And there's a different number of steps to the top. It was to confuse spirits. Like this is back to like the days of the construction. These superstitious guys said you got to make it a just slightly different height so the steps aren't exactly the same, and just so many little things. But the princess is the woman that lived there for a while. She used to look over the banister when she was throwing parties because she wanted to check out everyone's dress so she could go back and make sure she outdid everyone.
She was in this big. See the pictures of her in this big giant dress. That totally makes sense.
The painting, right there in the lobby. Yeah, it's a cool.
That's
place.
Really cool. That place has on the first floor. What's it called? The cave or something?
That's where down below. That's the
yeah.
During
Prohibition, I think that's where they put all the alcohol. So you go in there. There's no phones. You can't. It is a full blown cave, guys. This thing is. You go there. It's a trip. You go down there. There's a bar in there, and you go in. You're like.
It was like the speakeasy of the place.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Nice.
Awesome room.
Yeah, we have one here in Worcester at the Hotel Vernon in Kelly Square. Mm-hmm. And they still, if you want to see it, they still go through the whole thing. So you got to go up to the bartender and you got to say, Madam Rhubarb sent me. And they'll go, all right, when I get a free moment, I'll show you. And then you go downstairs and there's like a bar down. It's a little room, but there's a bar down. Like Babe Ruth used to go there.
That's awesome.
He lived over in Sudbury. He used to come out here and he used to, hang out at the old Madam Rhubarb speakeasy. And I love that stuff.
That's great.
Fantastic. Yeah.
And if you start thinking about it, it's just, talking to you, Jeff, this is great because you start thinking about all the little nooks and crannies where it's like, I don't mind South Boston or Southie, but that's all industrial and built up. Like I like to go into these little towns like Salem and Marblehead and all these other stories.
Although Isaiah, there's bodies all over South Boston.
God.
They're just
absolutely.
They're in concrete or, they dumped them over at the Fenway or something like that.
It's like the only thing that used to be there. Right. The only thing that used to be over there growing up was Anthony's Pier 4, right? That was it.
Yeah. And the No Name, I think. That was it, right? Yeah.
Now you go over there, it's like a city next to the city. Because you come off of whatever street it is, you're like, holy shit. Glass buildings.
The ghosts can't even afford to haunt there now.
No, they're out.
They had to move out to like Lowell. Where they could afford to haunt, for crying out loud.
I'm going to get a 1-bedroom in Lawrence.
Yeah, Lawrence, because they can't afford to haunt the waterfront anymore. Friggin' gentrification.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. Well, I want to ask you, like, I'm someone who wants to believe in all this stuff.
Okay.
I love this stuff. And I don't know if I love the stories, if I really want to believe in spirits. And it's something I've actually gone looking for. And I've never, like, you had that experience in Louisville. And Isaiah, you had that experience as a kid in your house.
Yeah.
And Josh, I don't know if you've had any experiences with spirits and stuff. You have.
I have, but when I was a kid. But is it because kids are more sensitive to that kind of thing?
Right.
I don't know.
I've gone out looking for it and stuff, even to this day, and I still want to believe. Like I went out to Spider Gates. I'm going to all the places that are on the New England Legends calendar, and I'm trying to figure out, but I've never in my life, I don't think, experienced something like that.
It's coming fucking hard now that you put it out there.
Can I help? Can I help, Mike?
I live in a house that was built in 1890. There's got to be something that's going on here. But and I remember the first day we moved in here, my wife was like, I'm pretty sure this place is haunted. And I remember standing up in the middle of this empty room going, look, I don't have time for this bullshit. You want to do any haunting, do it on your own time because I got to work in the fucking morning. And it's just
so they all listen to you. And
I don't know if they actually got the message or something, but it's like I've never experienced anything like you guys have. So I don't.
Okay.
I just don't.
Let me help. Let me help.
All right.
Have you ever been to a funeral?
Yes.
Open casket.
Yes.
Family member.
Yes.
When you looked at the body of your family member in the open casket, didn't look right, did it?
No.
Right. So I remember the first time I was 10 when I had a first close family member die. It was my grandma. And I remember seeing the open casket and thinking it should look like she's asleep, but it most definitely does not. And I was there when my grandfather actually passed away. And if you've ever seen someone who just died, there's a change that happens that I can't explain. And this is just my gut, by the way. Shoot, what do I know, right? Like, I'm not a religious scholar. I've never died and come back. But I saw this thing happen. There was a thing that was there that was clearly not there. And I mean more than just the heartbeat, more than just breathing. There is some essence. It didn't even look like him anymore, or my grandma anymore either, once she had passed away. And all I could come up with is because the person, the real thing that was her, was gone. And this is just a shell. And that's to me, that's the most profound evidence I have to believe in some sort of afterlife, is just looking at the dead bodies I've looked at, people I knew, and thinking it should just look like you're asleep, but it most certainly does not. That person I know is not in there. And all I see is this shell that sort of looks like the person, but that thing is missing. And so to me, that's my proof of some sort of spirit. And
I think Jeff, Mike, what Jeff is telling you is you need to go on tour of all these fucking funerals until you get wigged out.
Yeah.
Be a funeral crasher.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wedding crashers, funeral crashers. Because didn't Will Ferrell crash funerals too?
That was at the end.
Funerals?
He did because when what's his fuck came over to see him, he was screaming, "Ma, meatloaf!" and this smoke walks from downstairs. Whose husband just died? He's like, I moved from weddings to funerals, and the guy's like, what the fuck? And actually later in the movie, when he looks back, he's like, I gotta stop doing this. I can't crash funerals.
That's just, I don't know.
Well,
am I trying too hard? Is that it?
Yes,
for sure. So look, I mean, I've done this like close to 25 years now, all over the world, man. Tower of London and like catacombs of Paris and Australia, like, everywhere. 99% of the time, nothing happens. Like, and I don't expect it to. In fact, that thing in Louisville, when it happened, it was 1 a.m. There were 4 of us talking about, I think we were talking about getting White Castle right outside. Like, no joke. That's what we were talking about. Like,
I always think of the Beastie Boys when I hear White Castle.
There's a
White Castle and we got thrown out.
There's a White Castle and we got to hit that. And then next thing you know, like, this ghost appears. And so maybe you need White Castle as like the bait. I have no idea.
Maybe you get too high.
Grab me a bag of burgers.
Bag of sliders and we're on our way. Let's do this. Yeah.
Wow.
But like the only experiences I've had, I didn't know were experiences or weird until later on in life when I thought back and I was like, nope, that doesn't make any sense. That shouldn't have happened.
That didn't seem right.
I was looking out my bedroom window. My bed had a window next to it that looked right across the street to my neighbor's house. And it was nighttime in the summer. And I saw this little girl that was dressed like, it's stupid to say, but I don't know how else to describe it, like Little Bo Peep. And she was looking in all the windows, but it was pitch black out, but she was in daylight. But it wasn't like she was glowing or anything. It was just like how you see something in the daytime, but everything else was in nighttime. And she was just like weird, poking around. And then she started walking across the street. And I was like, oh, okay, lay down. And then just like,
I gotta go.
I didn't realize how that was weird until like later on. And then also one of my other neighbor's house, when I was looking out the window when I was a kid, my mom was crying because he died. And I looked out the window and saw him walking around in the yard. And I was like, oh, I wonder if he knows he died.
How old were you then?
I was maybe like 21. Yeah. No, I was like 6. But then later on, I was like, no, he shouldn't have been walking around.
He's dead.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I've never had that. I've never had that experience. And it's kind of like I want to, and maybe that's part of the problem. Like I want it too much. Like I want to see a ghost, or I want to see the friggin' Yeti that lives in Leominster, or, I'm trying too hard. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't, I think it's it's never going to happen when you want it to, but I've seen
Right.
people try so hard that they think everything's a ghost. I mean, I've been places where someone walked by and like brushed a curtain and it's swaying and they're like, did you see that? I said, yeah, you just hit it with your shoulder. Like that
You
was
bumped
you.
it with your elbow, dude. Let's go.
And you can't convince them like, no, that was a ghost. I'm like, no, I saw you like rub against it. Come on, you know? But
Hit
so
the curtain.
there are people that want to believe so bad they'll turn anything into a ghost. And so I don't think that's necessarily the right way to be, but there's probably some middle ground between nothing can be a ghost and everything is a ghost, right? There's got to be something.
I didn't think anything was necessarily happening when I was a kid. I remember I couldn't fall asleep. Like I can't fall asleep on my back now. It's on my side. It was just a thing that I couldn't sleep with my back to the room. It was a very big house, and sure, that can be scary. Place with, my parents were in the other room, and it creaked, it made noises, but I didn't think it was necessarily haunted. I just remember it. But years later, when that woman took me back into my childhood bedroom and said, I get a lot of energy from this room. There's a little girl that plays in this room. I'm like, fuck, what? Oh, okay. So it took years. I didn't know. Again, I grew up in this town. And these cemeteries are down the street. Yes, on Halloween, they're scary because the older kids are being fucking assholes throwing eggs around. So, of course, it's scary. But that's not the real, like, Jesus Christ, this is haunted. I didn't think it until that lady told me years later. I'm like, that maybe makes sense why I didn't feel comfortable. So that's as close as I've ever gotten. And I think the same thing, too, Mike. I want to maybe do the medium thing. My parents have, have passed away. Well, what am I going to find if I sit in front of a medium? What kind of shit am I going to hear?
Yeah.
A little nervous there. So
that's my mother did something like that. It was in the 90s. It was shortly after my father died. And it kind of upset me because like, Mom, why are you throwing your money away like that? But some of the shit she told me, I don't know how they figure it out, but she was like, she said things to me that only you and my father would know. Like I always told him he was a really good kisser and all this stuff. And I was like, oh my God. And then she went back to see her a few years later and said, I see your husband, he's there, and there's a little girl with him. And then, we had a daughter a few years later. And I'm just thinking, is this what the little girl was? I don't know what to think about mediums. Like, again, I want to believe, but I hear so many stories of like,
but that's a moment. I think that's a moment where your mother only recognized something that someone said to her. That person couldn't make that shit up about your dad. So that might be as close as you got to, man, okay, maybe you do have a connection with the other side.
Yeah.
Some of it's absolute horseshit and way over the top and sensationalized. But I mean, Jeff, what you're doing is cool because you're investigating. You're looking it up.
He's
You're not
looking into facts and history and stuff.
You're not like, look, and you put a fucking crazy suit on. You're like, we're going to this place and we're looking at the history, how you choose to see it. And some of the guests you speak to, I mean, guess what? They've all got a little story, and the whole thing's based on other people's stories.
So what I love about the work that I do is that I want to know, why are we talking about a place being haunted today? Or why are we talking about a Yeti in Leominster? Why, how did that happen? Right?
That Yeti's getting a lot of love on this show.
He's getting a lot of love today. So like, how did we get to right now? Because if you go back, you can often trace the steps. I was interviewed once. There's this bridge. I think it's in like North Carolina, and it's some specific. I think it's August 28th because it's my sister's birthday. The only reason I remember it. There's at midnight. There's a ghost train that comes through, and people will go there because it's it's so specific. August 28th at midnight, you go to this train bridge, and you'll see the ghost train. So of course, teenagers get drunk and they're like, let's go wait for the ghost train.
Gotta go.
And a few years ago, some guy went and waited, and he went way out on the bridge on the tracks. Guess what happened?
He fell.
Oh, no, a real train came and he died.
Right.
Like legit hit
by the ghost train.
Yeah.
He thought it was a ghost train, so he's like, "Oh, it's gonna go right through me."
Yeah.
Boom!
Yeah. And that it did. And so
that's not the ghost train, Johnny.
But now think about that. On the anniversary of this alleged train wreck, he dies, and now he's a part of this legend forever. Someone died looking for the ghost train. That's a fact now. That happened just a few years ago. And so that's someone who just became part of the legend. And now whether you believe in ghosts or not, a ghost train sort of really killed this guy, right? I mean, if you think about it.
And now you're part of the legend.
And now you're part of it.
This just reminded me, this is something I forgot my wife signed up for us to do this Halloween. There's a haunted tour in Marblehead that we're signed up to do.
Cool.
I'll definitely have to report. I mean, I'm very interested. Again, I know a lot about the town. I forgot a lot, but we're back. I think that those types of things, those are things you could host, it's because you know the history of these things. That's what you're doing basically with the podcasts and the shows you're doing. You're taking us on tour. Keep doing it, man. I love this shit.
No, that's the idea. I could never, no, it's funny. I would never, ever like run a ghost tour somewhere because I would be bored. I need to keep changing the story. I need to explore new stories all the time.
Well, you are running your own tour. It's just virtual.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see
Yeah.
it.
Sure.
Follow you go.
Totally. Yeah, but at the same time, there's people that run ghost tours of Salem night after night all year round.
I see this. Yeah.
I couldn't do the same location over and over and be like, oh, I've
you
already
get to know the
it.
ghosts. You're like, John, we're gonna come in, put your pants on. This kid's a little afraid.
Yeah.
Hey, Sarah, don't fucking puke this time. We're bringing children in. Okay, we're done.
And then if you look to your left, people can still hear screams.
Exactly. You're so bored. This is where she got murdered. Big deal.
That's right. Yeah. So, Jeff, can you give us a hint or maybe tell us about some upcoming places that you're going to investigate that we should look forward to?
Come to Marblehead.
Oh, God. So this coming week, there's a horrible story about a decapitation that took place in Maine, in Rockland, Maine, and it took place on Halloween Day. This is a real thing. This is not like a made up story, but a stepdad decapitated his stepdaughter and cut the body up into pieces, hid the pieces all around. He's caught and the head is never found. These are all absolute facts, and they're brutal. And that missing head haunts that town for generations, especially on Halloween. And I was thinking about it. If this crime took place any other day of the year, right? July 15th or whatever, you'd sort of let it drift and forget about it. But because it was Halloween, suddenly it's got extra weight to it. And you go, oh my God, Halloween's coming. You know about the headless girl, right? 1940, this happened. 1940.
Jesus.
And we're still talking about it. So we're looking at the 80-year anniversary this year on Halloween night of this horrible decapitation.
Are you going?
Are you gonna get? No,
come on.
I'm busy.
Let's go.
Oh yeah, this month, this October is like for Jeff. It's like his Christmas season and the Super Bowl and everything wrapped into one. Because we're not the only ones going. Please come on our podcast or show.
Talk to us about creepy shit.
Yeah, last year, and you're like, well, I don't know if I can fit it in, but you happen to be doing something across the street at GBH.
Yeah, right.
And you were able to make it over, but you're like booked up solid to give. Well, actually, are you because of what's going on now? Has it changed?
So more than ever. So except now it's all virtual, which it's not the same, man. I live for telling these stories in front of a live audience, man.
Right.
You know, when you see their face and when you get to talk and you feel the energy of the room, there's nothing like that. But so now it's all virtual, which is the analogy.
You know how to use Zoom now, don't you?
Oh, I know to look right there.
He uses all sorts of great stuff, man. His are you still doing your thing? Was it the
speakeasy? Yeah.
So scrolling stuff and images and things like that. It's awesome. Yeah.
Well, we have to innovate because we're stuck inside, and so I'm doing it through Zoom right now. To me, it's like the analogy is like pornography is okay, but you'd rather have real sex. So Zoom.
There's the promo for the show, Josh.
Yeah.
Guess who's coming up on the show? A porn expert. His name is Jeff Belanger.
Can't see us live, but you can watch it online, which is the next best thing, I guess, if you can't get it.
Maybe there'll be some Zoom hauntings.
Yeah.
Like a ghost will Zoom bomb one of your things, because
that'd be great.
City council meetings getting Zoom bombed with like porn and people putting in like bad music and stuff. Maybe a ghost will figure out Zoom and get on and be like, okay,
on his show,
I'm gonna haunt. Are you getting me right now? And
it's funny you say that because whenever something weird happens, whenever I've done any of my programs and talks and story nights, like wherever, as soon as some like one weird thing happens, right, you blame it on the haunting.
Yep.
Which and hauntings have been a scapegoat forever. Like, show me a haunted restaurant, someone drops a dinner plate, it's the ghost every time, right? Like ghost did it, and you're like, no, that was Joey. He just dropped the nope, ghost, right?
Wasn't the drunk waitress? It was the ghost.
No, and that's one of the things that happens. So like, if my camera cut out or something, like you'd be like, oh, that was the ghost because we're talking about them. We've summoned them, and that's the power of this stuff. Once it gets in your head, once it's in there, shoot. It's tough to get it out, and that's and this time of year we just give it more weight because we've got horror movies coming out, and we've got everybody's talking about ghosts and hauntings and trick-or-treating, and we dress up as the things we fear, and we dress our children as the monsters. And
everybody's wearing masks now. Now what do we do?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, every day's Halloween now.
Every day.
Mike, I think we should make a trip up to Rockland and see what's up. Try to find this headless chick and see if you get a little what's up.
So this is Rockland, Maine.
Maine.
Out of all
beautiful up there.
Out of all the New England states, Jeff, which is the creepiest? Because I'm saying right now it's Maine. Maine is definitely the creepiest because all the most fucked up stories come out of Maine to me, and that's where Stephen King lives. And he always
where he got all his inspiration. He just looked out the window.
Right. He pretty much did. But at the same time, I think Massachusetts has the most stories, but also that's because we have the most population. Right. And so it's all of this stuff is always a byproduct of population. No people, no stories. It's just how it works. So
no death, no ghost.
Right. So God, we've got some gruesome stuff here. The King Philip's War, which no one even talks about, right? Wiped out like 75% of the native population. And
what was this?
Exactly, right? This is the bloodiest. It's the bloodiest war in American or British history per capita to this day. Nothing close. World War II, nothing compared to this.
And where did this take place?
All around, like the just off the Cape up to northern Rhode Island to eastern Connecticut up toward Boston. That was the King Philip's War. And the reason we don't talk about it is because it took place just a few decades after the first Thanksgiving. And it's not a good story. Right? The first Thanksgiving is this wonderful meal that we share with the Wampanoag, and they helped us through these early winters and then just wiped them out. The King Philip's War was just brutal.
Yeah.
And it's not a nice story. There's no good spin on it. It is what it is. And I feel like sometimes that stuff sort of leaves this stain. And if you know even a little bit about it, the area just gets a little bit creepier because you're like, an awful lot of people died right here. I mean, imagine your town is built over like the battlefield of Gettysburg.
Oh, I was just going to mention Gettysburg. Right. A lot of people that go there. A friend of mine lives about, I don't know, let's say 5-10 miles from there. He loves the history stuff, goes there all the time. And he swears, he's like, that whole land is just oozing with energy.
The bodies were knee high, man.
Oh,
and they never developed it, right? So when you go, if you go to Devil's Den in Gettysburg, that's what it looked like. I mean, now they've got monuments up, but like it was never, no strip malls were ever put in. Like they left it as it was, which I think is great, right? It's a good thing. But we've plowed over and put highways and, strip malls and box stores over so many sacred sites. And,
that's what haunting. A lot of haunting is it's unfinished business,
right?
Injustices that were never brought to light. It's some kind of message the spirit is supposed to be getting out to let people know, look, this happened to me. I don't want people to know about it, kind of thing, right?
And I think that unfinished business is really all to do with the living and very little to do with the dead. Just like we were talking about the witch, right? We were talking about like the unfinished business is that injustices still happen to certain segments of our population. Right. That's the unfinished business, is that we're still persecuting certain people because they're weak or they're on the edge of society. And back then, when someone was on the edge of society, you just called them a witch. You just gave them that label. And today we have different labels, right? Whatever. I mean, in the 80s, it was, a slur about your sexuality or a slur about your race or whatever. And that's our way of pushing you to the edge. And I remember working on a story for Ghost Adventures, a place right outside of Philadelphia. This Penhurst Asylum was the most powerful story I ever worked on for Ghost Adventures. There's a federal law called the Penhurst Law about how you can and can't treat people with mental disabilities because of atrocities that took place in those buildings in the 1970s. 1970s, not hundreds of years ago.
No, 1970s. That's not that long ago.
It's so this doctor we talked to, I mean, patients were kept in dog kennels. If you bit someone, your teeth were removed. I mean, horrible. But this one doctor said, as soon as you think of another person or group of people as something less than you are, there's no limit to how horribly you can treat them. Right. And I'm like, that dude, that gave me chills then. And when I look at, like, I don't know, social media now, it gives me me chills because everybody's just thinking of other groups as less than them, right?
Attacking each other. Awful.
And you're like, oh, you are this political party, so therefore you are less than me. And then that's it. Once you think
total shit show.
Yeah, and once you get there, like that's trouble.
Well, so, I like how you compare. You can compare to 1600s, 1700s to what's happening today. Today's just more modern version. Social media just gives everybody a faster voice to say awful shit or ultimately go treat people like shit. And you just described that massacre, which I knew nothing about. And it's like, fuck, man. As a society, we just
we teach our kids only the history that helps the marketing. It's all marketing.
Probably.
History's told by the
I suppose
winners.
if that story were told a little louder, they wouldn't be celebrating fucking Thanksgiving now, would we?
I don't know.
It gets harder. It does get harder.
Right?
Well,
where do we find all your stuff, Jeff? Talk about exactly where we can find all of your. This is great stuff. Thanks for coming on the show. Where do we find all your stuff?
So my New England Legends podcast, anywhere you get podcasts, just look for New England Legends or look on Amazon Prime. You can, if you're a Prime member, the show's free. My website's jeffbelanger.com. You can see my story tour. Tons of them are on Zoom and they're free. So like you can just register and attend. I'm doing them almost every night of October. So if you got a free night and you want to come hang out with me for an hour virtually, tons of libraries are sponsoring me, which is I'm very grateful for. And yeah, it's a busy month and I'm just grateful to share these stories because I really do think they're important and they're fun. They're fun, they're funny, they're weird, and they touch on just about every part of our human experience.
And download the app. The app is really good. Yeah, it has.
I gotta do that. I didn't know you had an app. I didn't see that.
It's free. It's free.
I gotta do that.
Yeah.
New England
Legends.
Legends.
Go to any of these places he's talking about. They're all on there. They give you directions and everything. And the podcast is on there, and everything is on the app, which is it's really nice. So
plant it in your head sometime with your crew. Come to Marblehead. Trip it down.
All right.
And if you're up for it, we got to have you on again. Close to Christmas time.
Yeah.
Christmas.
Well, see now you guys are like now we got the training wheels. We can go pro at Christmas.
Good.
Really talk about the
real Doherty stuff.
Yeah. Good.
You worked us in nicely. You took it easy on us, Jeff. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you guys. Good seeing you again.
Yeah, good to see you, man. Yeah. Definitely.
Thank you so much, brother. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that was awesome, Jeff.
Take care, guys.
Man. You're awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you to Invoke Media Group, puts together our website, breakingtheicepodcast.com. Definitely check it out. Nicole Tung and her team do all of our web developments, all of our social media as well. Josh does all that with her. And you got Matt over at Wolfpack Coffee.
Oh, we got one of our sponsors joining right now.
Oh, hey, come on in.
Hey, how's it going?
It's Chris from Garage Doors Plus. What's up, man?
Chris, what's up?
What's up, guys? What's up, Isaiah?
What's
up, Josh? What's going on, dudes?
We're just hanging. We just talked to Jeff Belanger. He's still on. Hey, Jeff, that's Chris. He's with Garage Doors Plus, one of the people that actually pays to sponsor this mess.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Chris, I got a bridge I got to sell you. It's going to be amazing.
Man, dude.
You could charge tolls. It'll be awesome.
Oh, sweet. I can't wait.
Good deal.
Well,
Thanks.
I thought 40 bananas a month was okay payment to be on this.
Sounds steep to me, but you know what? Chris, thank you for being the founder of the feast. These are great guys. And
they're excellent guys. Yep, excellent guys. Guys.
Hey, Chris, have you ever seen any haunted garages?
Yes, I have. Yes,
really?
I have. Yeah, they were spooktacular.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
No. We do all kinds of stuff. I actually have an artist that does different things for people's garage doors. There's a spot in Salem that they wanted like a howling moon type werewolf thing on the front of their garage. We did that. Yep. Yeah. So family crest too. But yeah, pretty cool stuff.
Nice.
I do everything, man. I do everything.
I know, Chris. You gotta check out Garage Doors Plus social media. You can see a lot of his projects there, which look pretty amazing. So what are you doing? Are you out working today? Is that where you are?
I am. Yeah, I'm stuck in traffic, and I just pulled over to talk to you guys. So
I was gonna say, I love that you're talking to us while you're driving. That's ballsy.
Right.
I don't even look forward. I'm on automatic. I figured the Tesla will take me wherever I want to go. Right. I can take a nap. I can eat a sandwich.
What could go wrong?
Be on a podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
how are things going these days? Good.
Yeah. How's the garage door business?
We're busy. Very busy. Yep.
Every
got a lot of
single
work,
lead you get is from the Breaking the Ice podcast, right?
Like 80% of my work.
Oh,
80%.
I knew it.
I knew it. Easily.
That's got to be like 4 garages.
That's like maybe 5 to 6.
Your whole audience bought a garage door? That's amazing.
Great math shoe.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Mike has a garage door. He needs help.
My mom keeps calling and changing her name and address, but I always know it's her. Mom.
That's
Mom,
okay. If Ma's not going to support, then I mean, who else is going to support, right?
I guess nobody.
Yeah, Chris, my garage is in pretty shitty shape. I know you've commented, you've seen it in my videos. You're like, that's a bad garage shoe. It's that way because squirrels have turned it into a brothel.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what to do about that.
I'll come out there and I'll take care of you.
Okay, good.
It's a free estimate for me to come by for anybody's work.
Oh, good. I'll check with the squirrels. Maybe they can take a break, and then you can walk in there and take a look around.
It's a bang festival of squirrels in that.
Oh my God! They're doing it on the roof. They're all over the place.
Dude, Worcester style squirrels.
It's like
raccoons.
Exactly. Fort Lauderdale at spring break. They're just all over the place. It sucks.
That's awesome.
Rodent pest.
Well, Chris, thanks for popping on. Thanks for sponsoring the show, brother.
Yeah, thanks.
Anytime, man. Anytime,
you were there at the very beginning, man, and we really appreciate that. And thanks for sticking with us.
I love all you guys, man. You guys are the best, and of course, I'm very loyal. So that's what I want to do. I want to help you guys out, and it helps me out, and it helps all the people out there out. So that's good for me.
Well, thanks a lot, man. We appreciate that.
It allows Josh to buy more treats.
Yes, that's right.
Some more treats.
Jeff, he hates that word. Look at him. He left. He walked in.
Treats.
Oh, did he
That's
leave?
his trigger. Oh my God.
Triggered.
Yeah.
Triggered.
He doesn't like it when you say hot cup of tea either.
Okay.
Hot cup of tea.
You can
I
say
said
Wow.
That's my hot cup of tea. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Look at him. The veins.
You know what my treat for Christmas is? A hot cup of tea.
Oh, see, look, he can't even.
Yeah.
He's done.
Wow.
He's
Some
done.
weird triggers, man. He's got some weird, and we don't know why. There's no origin.
No, that's
There's
easy.
no,
That's really that's
Must be a genetic thing because somebody said something at my parents' house the other day. I was visiting them, and me and my sister both at the same time said, that makes me feel violent. And we're like, oh. Okay.
Wow.
That goes way back, man.
This is at the end of this episode. There's your
next
promo.
Episode. Yeah, next episode, unpack that.
That's right. New England legend.
We have to get that.
Brain.
I got to get that friend of mine, Lucia, on the show to look into what you and your sister said. That makes me violent. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
New sponsor, Nurse Ratchet, over Josh.
Oh, yeah. That's right, Nurse.
Hey, Josh, it's me, Nurse Ratchet.
Want a treat? Sorry.
You want a treat and a hot cup of tea, darling? Yeah, you do.
I don't know why I let that information out.
Well,
same reason why you don't like snakes. You're all fucked up.
And the amount of DMs I get with snakes and the other stuff, it's ridiculous.
Go what? Say it. Treat.
Hold on, I'm going on Wikipedia right now. Josh Dolan loves hot cup of tea.
geez.
And treats.
And it's Wikipedia, so it's free. I mean,
That's right, man.
Just load it on there. You can get Jeff Belanger stuff. It's all free, New England Legends, or fuck it. Let's just go Wikipedia.
Right.
Yeah, either way.
Either way. Well, listen, Jeff, thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
We really
Thanks a lot,
appreciate it. And Chris, thank you for coming on and
Thanks a lot,
sponsoring
man.
as well.
No problem, man. You guys rock.
See you guys.
All right,
Peace out. Have a good one,
All right.
guys.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.